All right, let's dive in. Ever feel like some foods are working against you when it comes to fat loss?
Yeah, you're not alone there. There's a ton of information out there. Sometimes it's hard to know what to believe.
Absolutely, that's what we're tackling today. We're looking at this online video. It's called, get this, 10 plus 1 foods you must stop eating to lose fat or you'll never achieve it.
Oh, I've seen those titles. A bit dramatic, right?
A little clickbaity for sure.
Oh.
But sometimes, even in those videos, there are some good points based on real science.
Definitely, you can find nuggets of truth in the most unexpected places.
That's our mission today, separating fact from fiction. We're all about giving you the tools to make your own informed choices.
Not about dictating a diet, more like giving you the knowledge to make choices that work for you.
Exactly. So this video jumps right into these so-called forbidden foods, starting with ultra-processed foods and packaged snacks. They call them out for being packed with empty calories. Have you heard that term?
Oh yeah, empty calories. It's a good way to think about it. Imagine your body needs fuel, right? Nutrient-dense foods, those are like high-octane fuel. They've got all the good stuff. Vitamins, minerals, fiber. Empty calories, well, they're like watered-down fuel. You get the calories, but without those essential nutrients.
So you're saying if I'm filling up on those empty calories, my body's not getting what it needs to run properly.
That's it. And it can totally affect fat loss. Those empty calories add to your overall calorie intake, but they don't really provide any value. You might end up eating more just to feel satisfied.
And that leads to what? A calorie surplus? Which then makes it harder to lose fat?
Exactly. It's all about that balance. Calories in versus calories out.
Okay, that makes sense. Now this video, they specifically call out chips as a troublemaker. What is it about chips that makes them so bad for fat loss?
Well, think about what's in a bag of chips. You've got refined carbohydrates from potatoes, but they've been stripped of their fiber during processing. Then, they're usually fried in unhealthy fats, sometimes even trans fats.
Trans fats, those are the really bad ones, right?
Yeah, not great for your heart or for inflammation in your body. And then there's the sodium. So much sodium.
That makes you feel all bloated, right?
Exactly. It's like a triple whammy. They don't fill you up, they're loaded with potentially harmful ingredients, and they can mess with how you feel.
Okay, chips officially on the watch list. Now this video also goes after sugary drinks. Like, really goes after them. What's the deal there?
Sugary drinks, they're a big problem. Liquid sugar can really sneak up on you. Have you ever noticed how you can drink a huge soda and not feel full at all?
You know, now that you mention it, it's like those calories don't count the same way food does.
You're right, they kind of don't. When you eat solid food, your body sends out these signals that tell you you're full. But with sugary drinks, those signals are weaker. Your brain doesn't register them the same way.
So I could drink like hundreds of calories and still be hungry. That's crazy.
It's true. And because they don't have fiber or other nutrients to slow things down, those sugary drinks cause these rapid spikes in your blood sugar.
And that's not good.
Not really. It triggers a surge of insulin, which is a hormone that helps your body use or store glucose. But when you have these constant spikes, it can lead to insulin resistance.
Insulin resistance, that's when your body can't use glucose effectively, right?
Yeah.
And that makes it more likely to store fat.
You got it. It's a whole chain reaction.
Wow, so those sugary drinks, they're more than just empty calories. They're messing with my hormones too.
Unfortunately, that's how it works. But there are easy swaps you can make. The video suggests water, herbal teas, or even just water with lemon. What do you think?
I can definitely get on board with that. Water is so refreshing, and there are so many delicious herbal teas out there. This makes total sense. Okay, let's move on to the next category. Refined grains. The video specifically mentions white bread.
Yeah, refined grains. They go through this process where they strip away the bran and germ, leaving mostly the starchy endosperm.
So what's wrong with that?
Well, that refining process removes a lot of the fiber, vitamins, and minerals. What's left breaks down into sugar quickly, leading to, you guessed it, a rapid rise in blood sugar.
So it's like those sugary drinks again. They hit your system fast and spike your blood sugar.
Exactly. And we talked about what happens then. Insulin surge, potential for insulin resistance, all that.
Got it. So the video stresses choosing whole grain bread over white bread. I try to do that, but sometimes I just crave that soft white bread. What makes whole grains so much better?
Well, think of whole grains as the unprocessed version. They have the bran, the germ, the whole package. That means more fiber, more nutrients, and a slower release of sugar into your bloodstream.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not just about weight, it's about keeping my blood sugar stable.
Exactly. Plus, whole grains have been linked to better heart health and a lower risk of type 2 diabetes. They're really good for you.
Okay, message received. Swap white bread for whole grain whenever possible. It seems like a lot of this boils down to choosing less processed versions of foods.
You're getting it. It's about understanding how different foods affect your body and making choices that align with your goals.
I like that.
And don't worry, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can still enjoy your favorites, just be mindful of portions and make healthy swaps when you can.
That's good to hear. I don't want to give up everything delicious. We've covered a lot already, from ultra-processed snacks to sugary drinks and refined grains. But there's more to come. Stick around. We'll be right back with more food categories to explore in this video. We're back and ready to keep digging into those foods that might be slowing down your fat loss journey.
You bet. We're tackling the next round of food categories from that video.
Okay, let's talk fried foods. I'm not gonna lie, I love something crispy and crunchy. But this video really paints them as the villain.
Yeah, fried foods often get a bad rap, and for good reason, especially when it comes to fat loss. Think about it. When you deep fry something, you're basically submerging it in hot oil.
So even if you start with something healthy, the frying just ruins it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's not just the extra fat, it's also the type of fat. A lot of places use oils that are high in trans fats, which are linked to all sorts of health issues.
Like heart disease and inflammation, right? We talked about those.
Exactly. So, not the best for your body. The video mentions baking or air frying as alternatives.
Those do seem to be getting more popular. What makes them better?
They cut down on the added fat big time. You still get that crispy texture without all the downsides of deep frying.
Okay, so maybe I don't have to give up all things crispy. What about processed meats? Those are on the list too.
Yeah, processed meats, think sausages, bacon, deli meats. They tend to be packed with saturated fat, sodium, and preservatives.
Now that you mention it, I always feel so bloated after I eat a lot of processed meat. Is that connected?
It could be. All that sodium can make your body hold onto water, leading to that puffy feeling. And while saturated fat isn't all bad, too much of it can definitely contribute to weight gain.
So what are some better options if I'm craving those savory flavors?
The video recommends leaner proteins, things like chicken, fish, or even plant-based options like beans or lentils. They give you protein without all the extra stuff found in processed meats.
Good to know. All right, on to the next one. This one might sting a little. Alcohol.
Yes, alcohol. It can definitely put a damper on your fat loss progress. When you drink, your liver focuses on breaking down the alcohol first before anything else.
Wait, so my body basically stops burning fat to deal with the alcohol?
Kind of. It puts fat burning on hold. Plus, alcohol itself has a lot of calories and not much nutritional value. And, let's be honest, it can lower your inhibitions.
Meaning?
You might end up eating more than you normally would or making less healthy choices. Late night snacks, anyone.
Oh, I know those all too well. Okay, moving on to something a little sweeter. The video talks about ice cream and sugary desserts, which, no surprise there, but what makes them so problematic?
It's that combo of refined sugar and unhealthy fats. They can lead to weight gain, blood sugar spikes, and all those hormonal imbalances we talked about earlier. They give you a quick energy rush, but then you crash and just want more.
And you just feel blah afterward.
Mm-hmm.
Are there better ways to satisfy those sweet cravings? I know the video mentioned fruit or homemade desserts with less sugar.
Those are great ideas. Fruit has natural sweetness, plus you get fiber and vitamins. And when you make desserts at home, you control what goes in them.
You can use better ingredients and cut back on the sugar. Okay, so it's about balance, right?
Exactly. You can still enjoy treats, just make smart choices most of the time.
I can work with that. This next category is an interesting one. Commercial sauces. I never really thought of them as being unhealthy.
They can be sneaky. A lot of them are loaded with hidden sugar, salt, and preservatives to make them taste better and last longer. But all that extra stuff can add up.
So my salad dressing or pasta sauce could be sabotaging me without me even realizing it.
It's possible. Making your own sauces at home with fresh ingredients is a good way to avoid all that.
I'll have to give that a try. What about breakfast cereals?
A lot of processed cereals, especially those marketed towards kids, are super high in added sugar, refined grains, and artificial ingredients. They might seem convenient, but they're not doing you any favors in the long run.
So what are better options for a quick breakfast?
The video suggests things like whole oats, or cereals with no added sugar. You could also try Greek yogurt with fruit and nuts, eggs with whole grain toast, or even a smoothie.
Those sound much more satisfying and energizing.
Definitely. Breakfast sets the tone for the whole day, so it's important to start it off right.
Okay, we're getting to the end of the list. This one is a bit confusing. Low-fat products. Why would something labeled low-fat be bad for fat loss?
It seems counterintuitive, right?
Good.
But here's the thing. When they take out the fat, they often have to add something back in for flavor and texture, and that's usually sugar or artificial sweeteners.
So you think you're making a healthy choice, but you might actually be getting a dose of something you're trying to avoid.
Exactly. Always check the labels carefully. Don't just go by the front of the package. Compare the low-fat version to the regular one. You might be surprised.
It's like those labels are trying to trick us.
Marketing can be tricky like that. Don't be fooled by buzzwords. Always look at the ingredients and the nutrition facts.
Great advice. Okay, last one, and this one is pretty straightforward. Refined sugar.
We've talked about it in relation to other foods, but it deserves its own category. Refined sugar is everywhere in our food supply.
So even if I'm not eating candy bars and drinking soda, I could still be getting a lot of sugar.
It's hidden in so many things, from sauces and dressings to bread and yogurt. That's why reading labels is so important.
That's like a sugar scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
But even small changes, like cutting back on soda or choosing unsweetened yogurt, can make a big difference.
You got it. It's all about those little changes adding up over time.
And we're back, wrapping up our deep dive into these so-called bad foods. We've been through a lot. Chips, sugary drinks, fried food, even those sneaky processed meats.
We've covered a lot of ground, really dug into the reasons why certain foods can make it harder to lose fat.
Yeah, and for me, the big takeaway is it's not about cutting out entire food groups. It's about making smart choices within those groups.
I agree. It's not about restriction. It's about understanding how different foods impact your body and making choices that help you reach your goals.
Exactly. So as we finish up, what are some of the key things you want listeners to walk away with?
Well, I think that concept of empty calories is really important. Not all calories are created equal. Some give you the nutrients you need, others are just, well, empty.
Like, there's a big difference between a meal made with whole foods and, say, fast food.
Exactly. And then there's the whole thing about refined carbs and added sugar. They can really mess with your blood sugar and lead to those insulin spikes.
And we know that can make it harder to lose fat and can even make you feel hungrier sooner.
Exactly. And don't forget about those tricky food labels.
So yeah, low fat or sugar-free doesn't always mean healthy.
Right. Always read the ingredients and look at the nutrition facts. Don't let those marketing buzzwords fool you.
Okay, so we've got the knowledge. Now it's time to put it into action.
Absolutely. One last thing I want to leave you with. Think about your relationship with food beyond just weight loss.
What do you mean by that?
Well, food is such a big part of our lives. It affects how we feel physically and mentally.
It's not just fuel, it's connected to emotions and experiences.
Exactly. So in addition to thinking about your weight, pay attention to how different foods make you feel. Explore new things. Find what works best for you.
That's a great point. I know when I eat well, I just feel better overall. It's not just about the number on the scale.
I think this whole deep dive has been about giving you the tools to make healthy choices that you can enjoy and that support your overall well-being.
Absolutely. And it's a journey, right? There are going to be ups and downs, but every time you make an informed choice, you're moving in the right direction.
I love that.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the world of food and fat loss. We hope you've learned something new and feel empowered to make positive changes.
Thanks for joining us.